Hey everyone, it's Flackfire. Battlefield teased its upcoming French DLC today on Twitter, sharing an image featuring French and German soldiers fighting inside a large structure that appears to be a fort. Although the French-themed DLC They Shall Not Pass isn't due out until March 2017, there is a lot of information hidden away in this concept art image. Keep in mind this is speculation, since games and DLC often change between concept art and release. The first thing to mention is, of course, the French flags on the walls. This tells us the fort itself is controlled by the French, meaning the map is probably inspired by early German attacks at Verdun, which saw the capture of several forts. One of those was Fort Douaumont. However, Fort Douaumont fell without much fighting, and the majority of combat surrounding it took place when the French attempted to retake the fort later in the war. As a result, I'd say we're looking at Fort Vaux, which was the site of some of the most intense and desperate fighting in World War I. Fort Vaux, along with Fort Douaumont, was part of a defensive system of forts designed to protect the city of Verdun. The DLC's name, They Shall Not Pass, was a phrase famously uttered by French General Robert Nivelle in defense of the city, making it even more likely the image here depicts the defense of Fort Vaux. By the end of 1915, the French had removed Fort Vaux' artillery for use on the front lines, leaving a garrison of around 150 men to defend the position. In spring of 1916, the Germans attacked the fort in force. The fighting was severe for both sides. Attacking German soldiers were forced to drink water from shell holes and were repulsed due to a lack of artillery support. The Germans were not dissuaded, however, and attacked the fort again on June 2, 1916, using flamethrowers to push French defenders inside the fort itself. If you look closely at the image shared by Battlefield, you'll spot an elite flame trooper class in the background. Trapped inside Fort Vaux on June 5th, the fort's commander, Major Sylvain Eugene Raynal, requested the fort be bombed as the surface defenses had been completely overrun by the Germans. By June 7th, fighting had moved underground and was hand-to-hand among galleries like the one shown in the Battlefield 1 concept art. Medical, food, and water supplies were all exhausted, forcing the French defenders to lick condensation from the fort's walls or drink their own urine. They were even cut off from their own latrines. Outside, French relief forces, desperately trying to push back the German attackers, received one final message from Fort Vaux. It begged, "Don't leave us." Unfortunately, with most of his men dead or wounded, Major Raynal finally requested the surrender of his garrison to the German attackers later that day. The request was granted, and the garrison surrendered formally with their arms presented. Because of their tenacity, Raynal and his defenders were treated with respect. German soldiers described the French defense of Fort Vaux as, quote, utterly reckless of their own lives, defended to the very last gasp, end quote. Germany's own Crown Prince Wilhelm allegedly presented Raynal with a sword to replace the one he lost during the battle. It's a fantastic story and one fitting for the Battlefield franchise, so hopefully one of the 4 maps in They Shall Not Pass does in fact feature Fort Vaux. But the new concept art image also includes other hints of what's coming in the DLC. One of the most recognizable World War I French weapons was the Chauchat light machine gun. The weapon and its telltale half-moon magazine are visible in the concept art. Although notorious for its unreliability, it was the most produced automatic weapon of World War I. The Chauchat featured a 20-round magazine and a manageable fire rate of 240 rounds per minute. If the weapon appears in Battlefield 1, it will most certainly be issued to the support class. The French soldier here appears to be using what may be a ruby pistol. The weapon is similar in appearance to the MLE 1903 and the M1911. The ruby pistol has a capacity of 9 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised to see either of these weapons in Battlefield 1's French DLC. What would you like to see in the upcoming DLC? Tell me in the comments. Hopefully DICE will release some more images teasing what's to come in They Shall Not Pass. If they do, you know I'll be looking at them closely. If you're interested in reading some of the intense first-person accounts of the battle over Fort Vaux, I'll leave a link in the video description. If you want more speculation from me about the upcoming French DLC, check out the video that follows. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share on websites like Facebook and Twitter, and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.